Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Venus conjunct one's natal Mars. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Venus in astrology, it could be about what we love, enjoy, value, our self-worth, self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves. And when you have the transit of Venus conjunct your natal Mars, this could be about loving, enjoying, and valuing. It could be courage. Um, Say if this is in the zodiac sign Cancer, this could be something where you might put more value, exhibiting courage, standing up for family members, people you're close to home with, protecting them. Um, if it's in Pisces, it could be standing up for those that might be weaker, that are more passive, that have difficulty standing up for themselves, those that are less fortunate than yourself, such as the homeless, the oppressed, the hungry, the impoverished. And also it could be a point where you might show some leadership ability as well, where you value this. And even if your chart indicates a more subservient, where it indicates more of a person, it's more indicative of a person that might be inclined more to a subordinate, subservient type role, or roles such as a Virgo or Pisces dominant chart. It could be a time where you may exhibit more leadership qualities, and even if it's just leading by example. And this is something too, and where when you look at this, say if it's in Capricorn, for example, it could be by, even if you're in some business or you're working just some regular mundane job, it could be just by leading people that might be younger than you, and being able to show people the way, basically, and how to do certain things, and at the job, like showing newbies what to do, being that authority person for that time being for those people, even if you're not in an authority, you're not in a position of authority. But anyway, this could also be about really valuing more your energy and your vitality. And really at this time, if it's there's issues with your vitality and energy, you might be trying to care for it. It's say if it's in the zodiac, going back to zodiac sign Cancer, you might be nurturing this as well at this time. And also Mars could be associated with physical issues. So this is a time too where it might be where you're loving yourself more physically. How you are physically can be more tied in with your self-worth, self-esteem, how you feel about yourself at this time. And also too, I mean, Mars is about combat and confrontation, so you might show that you might actually enjoy maybe a good argument at this time more so than usual. And even if you have a chart that shows you're very quiet or some more passive, and somebody that avoids confrontation at all costs. But it could also be about valuing and enjoying sports more at this time, more so than usual. Say if it's in Scorpio, it could be extreme sports, or if it's in Libra, it could be ones that involve like balance, equilibrium, like gymnastics, for example, or even tennis. And Gemini, it could be a sport that involves very quick reactions, like badminton or racquetball. And could show more of an enjoyment, and you might really love doing these things at this time. Though keep in mind the transit is not a sustained one. And also too, and Mars is also about anger as well, and it could be where you could have it could be relationships might be a little bit more contentious, more so than usual. And also too, letting out anger might impact how you feel about yourself at this time. It could be good or bad if you do it in a constructive way. um, but it could have one effect, but if you unleash it in a way where it's not as constructive, it's more destructive, it might wind up, ultimately making you feel a little bit worse about how you feel about yourself at this time. And also too, this is where you have to, at this time, valuing perhaps matters, with the head. I mean, this is, Mars energy, the head, the skull. Um, taking really at this time valuing that more so than usual. If you're like a motorcyclist, it could be, where you really need to, at this time wear more, more protective like headgear as an example. This could be also at this time as well. Mars is associated with our motivation and drive, and this is about where you might enjoy the art of being motivated at this time. And also it could be people, important friendships, or even a relationship, a romantic partner, a significant other might be playing more of a role in terms of you being driven and motivated at this time. And also valuing more enthusiasm at this time for whatever it is you're doing. If this is in Scorpio, for example, it could be, doing something with recycling or anything with transformation, or working as a locksmith, find getting to the bottom of some conundrum or mystery. And also, to Mars is associated with surgery. So this could be a time where you might be putting a little bit more, value in this at this time, more so than usual. And if there is something that needs, surgery at this time, it could be a time where you might emphasize it a little bit more so than usual. Mars is also about injuries, cuts, burns, and if this is something where you have to do, something about this sooner than later. Obviously, this is something. It's because Venus is about, our value, what we have to do. To do. It's about, valuing these things a little bit more injuries, and taking care of them at this time, showing more love for yourself, maybe by taking care of these things if you have procrastinated on. Now, a cut is one thing. A cut has to, you have to do something about it, like, immediately, but you understand, what I'm saying. And also, Mars is about independence as well, and it could be a time where you simply value independence a little bit more so than usual. It might even bring more, where you might appear more attractive in some cases by coming across as a little bit more self-reliant, more independent, more so than usual at this time. And this is a time where, too, uh, also as well, looking at this transit, I mean, it could be a very good transit as far as your connections go, your relationships, as far as if you're in an intimate relationship, because Venus is about relationships, Mars is about sexuality. You might come across more attractive from a sexual standpoint, more sexually, attractive more so than usual at this time. If it's in Scorpio, it could be by wearing, provocative outfits. Um, and also, too, relationships may give you more motivation and drive more so than usual, but they may be a little bit more contentious, even combative. So remember, when you have transits that involve conjunctions, they're very intensifying. They're integrating and amalgamating. They're basically neutral. They can be positive, but they can be adverse as well. They have what it does is it blends those two energies very tightly. It pushes them together. So now, if this is in the zodiac sign Aries, it could be, if there's a situation that's contentious, it could be due to some easy provocation, but not anger that is sustained in this kind of forgive and forget type energy. If it's in the zodiac sign Cancer, it might be arguments with a significant other that are tied into safety and security issues. And this is a time, too, where you may value your vitality, your energy more so than usual at this time. If it's in, something with, in Taurus, it could be something with, your latent energy, or matters very strongly connected with one's endurance. It could also be, Venus-related issues at this time may cause more irritation and exasperation more so than usual. If it's something over, love or money, or it could even anatomically, keep in mind that Venus is associated with the throat, the neck, the thyroid, lower back, the kidneys. So it can be, some issues that might be causing some irritation or exasperation with that, especially, like, say, if you have your natal Mars in the first or sixth house in your chart, because the first house, of course, is associated with the physical body. The sixth house can be associated with physical issues and debilitations. Hold on a moment, people. But anyway, now in isolated cases, this could be manifest in a lawsuit that could be over something Mars related. It could be of a sexual nature or crime or something volatile or violent or arson, a fire situation, or some kind of injury at this time. Say, for example, if this is in Gemini in the sixth house, if this transit takes place in Gemini in the sixth house of your natal chart, it could be an injury to the arm or the hand. It could be by a pet, because the sixth house can be connected with them. And now, if there is a divorce in some isolated cases, it might be one that might be more acrimonious, more so than usual. And I mean, if it's in Scorpio, it's going to really be more emphasizing the shared resources situation, which is emphasized anyway in a divorce. But say if you have it in Scorpio, or you have it in the eighth house in your natal chart, that's where you could have, the very strong, arguments over. It could be more of a messy divorce situation. But also too, that if it's in Aquarius, it might be. You're talking about, a situation where you have maybe where the divorce could be such where there's really strong freedom and independence at this time, because Mars can be about independence and Aquarius is about freedom and independence. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.